Assalamu alaikum. My name is Amir Hamza. I am foundation level student at Riyadh School, Barakah campus. So today we will hear in Maya. So let's start. Hello Maya, how are you? So let's start. Hello Maya, how
Hi,
are
what's
you?
up?
Hello Maya, free.
Hello. What's on your mind?
So my first question is, what are micro habits?
They're basically the tiny, almost ridiculously easy versions of a habit you actually want to have. Think like instead of working out for an hour, your micro habit is just putting on your gym shoes. Takes the pressure off and tricks your brain into actually starting.
So
Does
my
that make
next,
sense?
so my
It can
next,
definitely feel like I get that. Is there one specific thing you've been wanting to start?
so my next question is, why are micro habits important?
Because they stop the all or nothing mindset from ruining everything. When we set huge goals, our brain often panics and chooses the path of least resistance, which is usually the couch. Micro habits bypass that fear by making the entry point so small it's impossible to fail. It builds momentum, and momentum is everything.
So my next question is, how do micro habits differ from regular habits?
The biggest difference is the scale of the entry point. A regular habit is the destination, while a micro habit is just the first step. Like instead of the habit of reading a book a week, the micro habit is just reading one page. One is a goal, the other is a trigger.
So my next question is, can micro habits improve productivity?
Absolutely. They stop you from wasting energy on the dread of starting, which is where most productivity actually dies.
So my next question is, what is an example of a micro habit?
The classic one is just drinking a glass of water as soon as you wake up. Or if you want to be more organized, maybe just tidying up one single item on your desk before you leave for the day. It's almost too easy, which is exactly the point.
So my next question is, how long does it take to build a micro habit?
There's no magic number, really. You've probably heard that it takes 21 days, but that's kind of a myth. It varies for everyone, but the key is consistency over intensity. Once it feels automatic.
So my next question is, why are small changes often more effective than big changes?
Wait, that's an interesting pivot. I'm not sure there's a general rule that they're more effective. Do you mean in terms of learning or maybe just how they're more fearless about trying things?
So the next question is, how can micro habits help students?
They're a lifesaver for students because they kill the procrastination loop. Instead of staring at a 10-page essay and freezing up, a student can make their micro habit just opening the document and writing one sentence. Once the cursor is moving, the hard part is over.
So my next question is, can micro habits reduce stress?
Yeah, they definitely can. Stress usually comes from feeling overwhelmed by the mountain of things we have to do. Micro habits turn that mountain into a few tiny pebbles, which makes everything feel manageable again.
So my next question is, what role does consistency play in micro habits?
Consistency is the whole game. It's what actually rewires your brain to make the action automatic. If you do it every day, even if it's tiny, you're telling your brain that this is just part of who you are now.
So my next question is, how can micro habits improve health?
They take the intimidation factor out of health instead of trying to overhaul your entire diet or commit to a grueling workout plan overnight. You start with something like taking a walk around the block or eating one piece of fruit. It's about removing the friction so you actually start. and then letting that small win lead to a bigger one.
So my next question is, what is habit stacking?
I've never actually heard that specific term before. I searched for it and it didn't really come up. Are you thinking of habit stacking?
So my next question is, how can someone start a new micro habit?
Pick one tiny thing you actually want to do. Then find something you already do every day, like brushing your teeth or making coffee, and tether the new habit to it. Just do that one small thing right after the existing one, and you're set.
So my next question is, why do people often fail with large goals?
Because they try to climb the whole mountain in one jump. Most people focus on the destination instead of the system. So as soon as they hit a bump or have a bad day, the whole thing falls apart because the goal felt too heavy to carry.
So my next question is, can micro habits improve time management?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. That sounded like a few different things mixed together. What were you saying?
So my next question is, how do micro habits affect motivation?
They basically fuel it. Most people think motivation has to come first for us to take action, but it's actually the other way around. Taking a small step, like a growth habit, gives you a win, and that win creates the motivation to keep going. It's a positive feedback loop.
So my next question is, what are the benefits of reading one page a day?
It kills the intimidation factor. Instead of seeing a whole book as a chore, you just focus on one page. Makes reading feel like a pleasure again rather than a task. And honestly, the momentum usually carries you into reading way more than just that one page.
So my next question is, can micro habits help with fitness?
Totally. It turns fitness from a daunting chore into something manageable. Like if the gym feels like too much, your micro habit is just doing 2 push-ups or stretching for 1 minute. It's about proving to yourself that you can start.
So my next question is what is the easiest micro habit to start today?
Yep, that's the one. You just have to pick one tiny thing and go for it. What's something small you've been thinking about trying?
So my next question is, how do reminders support micro habit?
Reminders are great for this because they act as the external trigger your brain needs. You can set a specific time, or better yet, a location-based one. Like having a reminder pop up as soon as you get home to do your 1-minute stretch. Do you use a digital calendar or just a notes app?
Can micro habits improve mental health?
Definitely. They provide a sense of control and mastery when everything else feels chaotic. Just hitting a tiny goal every day proves you're capable of showing up for yourself, which is a huge win for your headspace.
So my next question is, why is tracking progress important?
Because it turns the invisible progress into something you can actually see. When you check off a box or see a streak, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine, which makes you want to keep the streak alive. It's basically gamifying your own growth.
So my next question is, how can micro habit improve learning?
Improve them? Which part are we talking about? Like the reminders or mental health side of things?
Okay, Maya, so my next question is, what are some more thick micro habits?
I'm not entirely sure what you mean by thick micro habits. You mean ones that are more challenging, or maybe just some more substantial examples?
So my next question is, what are some evening micro habits?
An evening micro habit is just a tiny action you do to wind down your day. Like instead of trying to do a full hour of meditation, your micro habit could just be taking 3 deep breaths before you hit the pillow. Or maybe just putting your phone in another room 5 minutes before bed. It's all about signals that Tell your brain it's time to relax.
Okay, bye. So my next question is, can micro habits help break head habits?
Well, they're actually one of the best ways to do it. Instead of trying to stop a bad habit through sheer willpower, which usually fails, you create a micro habit that competes with it. Like if you're scrolling on your phone for an hour before bed, your micro habit might just be placing a book on your pillow. You're not fighting the bad habit, you're just making a better one easier to start.
So my next question is, how do micro habits build self-discipline?
They're essentially a low friction entry point to a bigger goal. It's like the minimum viable product of a habit, something so small it feels silly to say no to.
So my next question is, what challenges might people face when building micro habits?
The biggest hurdle is usually just thinking they're too small. People often feel like doing one push up or reading one page isn't counting as progress, so they push themselves to do more and accidentally make the habit too heavy again.
So my next question is, how can technology help create micro habits?
It's a huge help, mostly by removing the friction. Apps that track streaks or give you a little notification nudge are great, but the real power is in the automation. Like setting your smart lights to dim at a certain time to trigger a wind down micro habit. Do you use any habit trackers?
So my next question is, can micro habit improve relationship?
For sure. It's all about the small, consistent gestures. Like instead of planning a huge romantic getaway, a micro habit could be just sending a quick thinking of you text or giving a genuine compliment once a day. Those tiny moments build a foundation of safety and connection that a once a year vacation just can't touch.
So my next question is, what is the connection between habits and success?
Success is usually just the result of a bunch of tiny consistent habits that finally compound over time. It's not usually one big leap, but 1,000 small steps in the right direction. Does that click with how you see things?
So my next question is, how can micro habits improve focus?
By stopping the startup cost of a task. When we lose focus, it's usually because the next step feels too big or boring. A micro habit, like just writing the first sentence of a report, gets you into the flow state faster without your brain fighting you the whole time.
So my next question is, why should goals be realistic?
I'm still here. You just asked why girls should be realistic. That's a bit of a curveball. What brought that up?
Okay, Maya. So my next question is, what are some examples of healthy micro habits?
You probably need micro habits again, right? Like taking a 5-minute stretch in the morning or swapping one soda for a glass of water. Simple things that don't feel like a chore.
Okay, Maya. So my next question is, can writing one sentence a day become a strong habit?
Absolutely. It's the perfect way to start because it removes the pressure to be great and just focuses on being consistent. Once you've proven to yourself that you can show up every day, the quantity usually grows naturally.
Okay, ma'am. So my next question is, how do micro habits influence confidence?
They're like a confidence engine. Every time you complete a micro habit, you're keeping a promise to yourself. Those tiny wins stack up, and eventually you stop seeing yourself as someone who tries to do things and start seeing yourself as someone who actually does them.
Okay, ma'am. So my next question is, what is a question habit?
You had it. I'm listening.
next question is, can micro habits improve final habits?
They're essentially the once you've mastered the tiny version, the real habit just feels like a natural extension of it. It's way less scary to go from one push up to 10 than it is to go from 0 to 50.
Okay, Maya, so my next question is, why is practice important when building habits?
Because it's how you build the neural pathways in your brain. It's like carving a path through a forest. The first few times are a struggle, but the more you walk it, the easier and more automatic the path becomes. That's how a conscious effort eventually turns into an automatic habit.
My next question is, how can micro habits support personal growth?
They basically clear the path for long term health instead of trying to fix everything at once, which usually just leads to burnout. You use micro habits to build a foundation of small wins. It's like planting seeds. One tiny change.
So my next question is, what are the greatest
Today, like
habits?
I'm still here. You're jumping around. Who's Bix?
So my next question is, can micro habits improve communication skills?
For sure. Something as simple as making eye contact for 2 seconds more than usual or committing to one genuine compliment a day can totally shift how you interact with people. It's way less intimidating than trying to be a better communicator overnight.
Okay, so my next question is, how can my network issue? So let's start.
What's up?
So my next question is, how can someone stay committed to a micro habit?
Consistency is the toughest part. Usually, the secret is making the habit so ridiculously small that it's almost impossible to fail.
So
Have
my
you
next-
tried tying it?
So my next
Wait,
question
your
is,
neck?
what happens when a micro habit is skipped?
The world doesn't end, which is the good news. The real danger isn't the missed day, but the all or nothing mentality that tells you to just give up because you broke the streak. Do you think you're the type to be hard on yourself when things slip?
So my next question is, how can reverse reinforce micro habits? Reverse.
Some interesting way to put it. Usually that means using negative reinforcement, where you remove something annoying or unpleasant once you've done your habit. Like if you've been dreading a specific chore, you tell yourself you can't do it until you've finished your 1 minute stretch. Or more simply, just avoiding the guilt of a missed day. Does that sound like what you were getting at?
अगला question. So my next network issue. So let's start.
I'm with
My next question is, how can reverse reinforce micro habits?
Right, reinforcing them. The best way is usually a habit stack, basically hitching your new micro habit to something you already do without thinking, like brushing your teeth or making coffee. Just turns the existing routine into a trigger.
So my next question is, are micro habits suitable for everyone?
Absolutely. They're basically the low barrier entry of self improvement. Since they don't require a massive amount of willpower, they work for people regardless of their energy levels or how chaotic their schedule is.
Now my next question is, how do micro habits create long-term change?
It's like the snowball effect. Small wins build your confidence, and once you stop fighting yourself to start, the habit becomes part of your identity. You're no longer trying to read, you're just a person who reads every day. That shift in how you see yourself is where the permanent change happens.
So my next question is, what is the biggest advantage of micro habits?
The biggest advantage is that they kill the friction. Most people fail because the starting part is the hardest. Micro habits make the entry point so low that you can't make an excuse not to do it. It's
So
a
my,
huge win for your mental energy.
so my next question is, how can micro habit lead to success?
They turn the mountain into a series of tiny, manageable steps. Instead of staring at a massive goal and feeling paralyzed, you're just focusing on the next 2 minutes. Over time, those tiny wins compound into massive progress. Do you have a specific goal you're trying to reach?
So my last question is, what micro habit would you like to start and why?
Oh, putting me on the spot. If I could actually do things, I'd probably go for a one curious fact a day habit. Just one weird thing about the world that makes me go, huh? It's wild. It's basically my entire personality in a microdose. Why do you think a specific habit would be a good fit for you?